Hey, what's up? It's Jim, and I just got back from the new film Cedar Rapids. Cedar Rapids is about a guy named Tim Lippy. He's never left his small Wisconsin town until he is asked to go to the insurance conference for the insurance company he works for, Brown Star. He normally isn't asked. However, the person who normally goes dies in an autoerotic asphyxiation accident. He's never stayed in a hotel room. He's never flown on a plane. So this is all a big deal for him. And he has to go there and represent Brown Star so they can win another award. I think it's like the Double Aces Award. They've won a bunch of them, and they want him to win yet again so they can look like a great insurance company. Specifically, this film reminds me a lot of Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. It works with this Midwestern vibe to it. It's very like small and homespun. Reminds me of Mike Judge, his more recent film Extract. This film has traces of Capra, Billy Wilder, even reminds me of Preston Sturges in places. And Miguel Artia, the three films I've seen from Artia have been The Good Girl, Youth in Revolt, and Cedar Rapids. And I think in each of them he has a very strong lead and then a really great supporting cast. Much like they did in old studio era comedies. You'd have like a Jimmy Stewart, and then you'd have an amazing cast of bit players. My grandma she watches old movies, and she would tell me about how she likes to watch old movies because she likes to see all the same actors in the background. That's one of the things about those classic comedies, is like you'd see the same actors all the time, and you kind of get accustomed to them, and you'd love like seeing like Frank Morgan in A Shop Around the Corner, and then you see him in Wizard of Oz, and there's like a comfort feeling about that. And I feel like the supporting cast gave that comfort feeling. I like that homespun feel, like King of the Hill, that small town vibe where you can just at the end of the day curl up with the TV and see Dale and Boomhauer. And that same way I see Ed Helms and Sigourney Weaver and John C. Reilly. I see a lot of films where artistically the film makes me feel good, but the film itself is a downer. It's incredibly refreshing to see a film and leave and be like, I feel like really good. Like I felt like just good about myself and good that I saw this movie. We have certainly lost that in the current cinematic age because it's more funnier to be meaner and like be Robert Downey Jr. in Due Date than, you know, be Ed Helms in this movie. He's a very sweet, small, like fragile guy. He wants to snuggle after sex. Ed Helms captures Jimmy Stewart's endearing nature. It reminds me of how I saw an interview with Bill Murray, and he talks about how he really is emulating Cary Grant a lot in the first Ghostbusters, and I'm assuming the second one as well. And I think this reminds me of how that performance is channeling Cary Grant, but obviously Bill Murray is bringing his own attitude to the film as well. Ed Helms' performance, he's channeling Jimmy Stewart, but he's his own guy. He's really good at being like this single kind of almost desperate guy who just really wants a family, really wants to settle down, but he's single and he's by himself. This is probably one of my favorite comedies I've seen in a while, but it's not necessarily the funniest comedy I've seen in a while. Like I think I talked about Get Him to the Greek, where I think that was probably the funniest movie I saw that past year, but it wasn't the best comedy I'd seen that year. I think this is a very good comedy. All right, so if you have seen Cedar Rapids and you would like to talk about it, then comment below down there, and subscribe if you would like to. Tell your friends.